وعليكم السلام ورحمة الله وبركاته. وعليكم السلام.
مرحبا يا دكتور، كيف الأحوال؟
وعليكم السلام دكتور.
Okay. 73 students, not enough. 73 أو 74 طالب. Okay. Last lecture, just to make a quick review about last lecture, we discussed the two comic scenes regarding the host or the stable keeper when they stole one of Faustus' books and they start to conjure the devil. Then, as you know, they summoned Mephistopheles, and then he just like threatened them to transform them to kind of animals because they misused the power of the book, or sometimes he accused them of underestimating the power of the book. And we discussed previously that the function of these two scenes that to give a kind of relief to the audience or the readers after the stressful scenes that we have read before, from conjuring the devil, death, Lucifer, and so on. So these two scenes actually, as I have told you, probably some said that they were not written by Faustus himself, a friend probably, or one of the playwrights after Marlowe's death. They just inserted these two scenes in one way or another. So basically these two scenes presented to us as readers kind of comic relief, because the play is a tragedy, and these two scenes were kind of comedy, full of comedy. So if you are watching the play itself on stage, I mean on theater, you may find that the entrance of these two characters who stole the book of Faustus, a kind of rising laughter, or you may laugh at them because of the actions and so on. But though, because you are reading just the book, or the textbook, you may not find these two scenes as comic scenes, but actually they are full of fun actions, comic actions, and so on. So basically these points are what did we explain on last lecture. Today we have new two scenes, scene number 10 and scene number 11. And as I have told you previously in the last lecture, that the coming scenes are going to be explained, or we are going to explain them just analyzing them without going back to the textbook, without reading the lines from the textbook, because 8 scenes for you, as a textbook, are enough in the exam, I think. So today we will go through explaining, then analyzing these two scenes, and finding the most important points that enable you to comprehend and understand the play. مصطفى عيسى، النت ضعيف حيل، من نزلت الرابط أني أحاول أدخل. Okay, you picked up the time. I don't know why did you pick 9 o'clock p.m. It's too late for you, and I know that this time the net connection is so weak, but you did pick up this time or this hour 9 o'clock. يعني دائما والنت ضعيف بهالوقت يكون حسب ما أعرف. على كل حال you picked up the time. Okay, so let us begin by explaining the two scenes. It's up to you if you'd like to explain and analyze the scene or explain both of the scenes and analyze them. It's up to you. So let us start from Hind Abdul Karim. Hind Abdul Karim. Yes, Hind.
Yes, sir. Yes.
Right, yeah.
Scene number 10. Okay?
Yes, no problem.
Yes. Faustus doesn't show any significant change in this scene. He still places himself with his newfound power and continues to use this power to thinking and expecting before he signed the bond that he would benefit humanity and Germany with his experience and capability. And instead of that, the most thing he did put horns on the head of a Kenite when he mocked him and his capabilities.
Right.
Here, there is irony, where when Faustus conjured Alexander the Great at the request of German Emperor Carlos, because Alexander, this is irony, because Alexander the Great is the man who ruled the world, conquered the world, and performed impossible tasks, while Faustus had more means under his commands than Alexander's action, but he failed to benefit from them.
Right, yes, good. Yeah, thank you. Marwa Walid?
Yes, sir.
Yes.
Good evening.
Evening.
Yes. In this, I want to talk about scene number 10.
Right.
Yes. Yeah. In this scene, we saw that it happened in the Imperial's palace at Innsbruck when Imperius has heard Faustus' a great reputation as a magician. He would like to see him with his own eyes to prove that Faustus has magical skills. So now we can see now that Faustus is ready to satisfy Imperial's desire to see him. So he asked Imperial what he would have him to do to show his skills. The Imperial speak of greatness of his ancestors among who has Alexander, the great, the most heroic of them all. The Imperial would like Faustus to rise Alexander the Great from the camp and which he lies buried. The Imperial would like Faustus to rise Alexander, beautiful sisters.
Mm-hmm.
To see Alexander, and this as they would be during their lives. So after that, Faustus. So the Imperial, he can just see him as a spirit, not as actually bodies, because actually body were reduced to dust long ago. Then during this scene, we showed or we see a knight in the court skeptical of the part of Dr. Faustus.
Mm-hmm.
And he just said that he is a juggler, not have any skills. Yes. Then Faustus tell the knight, "I will punish you because you or you said what can I say, or you speak in rude."
Right.
So yes, so Dr. Faustus command Mephistopheles to bring Alexandra and his mistresses.
Mm-hmm.
The emperor surprised when he sees them. After that, Dr. Faustus punished the knight
Right.
and turned him as what I can say. Make him with the two
Horns.
forget this
Horns.
horns. Yes,
Yeah.
that's right. Yes, that's all I understand from this
Right.
scene.
Yes. Thank you. Good. Okay. Who else?
Yes.
Konai. Yeah. Yeah.
Yes.
Hussam. Yes, Hussam. Yeah. Let us start with Hussam.
No, that's okay. It's okay.
Yeah. You didn't raise your hand. I believe.
I raised it. Okay, sorry.
Oh, you are. Yeah. You are at the bottom of the queue. Okay. Konai.
Yes. Yes. Good evening.
Evening.
Yes. In this scene, we see that Faustus meets a horse courser and tells him his horse. Faustus gives the horse courser a good price, but warns him not to ride the horse into the water. Faustus begins to reflect on the pending expiration of his contract with Lucifer and falls asleep. The horse courser reappears, stopping with complaining that when he rode his horse into a stream, it turns into a heap of straw. He decides to get his money back and tries to wake Faustus by hollering in his ear. He then pulls on Faustus' leg
Right.
when Faustus will not awake. The leg breaks off and Faustus wakes up feeling a bloody murder. The horse courser takes the leg and runs off. Meanwhile, Faustus' leg is immediately restored and he laughs at the joke that he has played. Meanwhile, Wagner enters and tells Faustus that the Duke of Wimholt has summoned him, and Faustus agrees to, so they depart together.
Right. Good. Yeah. I believe this is in scene number 11, but it's still good. Thank you. Okay. Abdullah Muyassar.
Yes.
Yes, please.
Scene number 10 tells about Faustus in the court of the German emperor.
Right.
So who had of Faustus' skill in magic, so he wanted to see evidence of his ability. And whatever happens, he will protect him and no one can hurt him.
Right.
Accuse him of being a sorcerer. So then Faustus began to manipulate the emperor and say to him, "I'm at your command." So the emperor mentioned about his wishes. So he wanted to summon Alexander the Great and
Right.
his beloved in their true form.
Yeah.
So Faustus agreed, and the knight continued to deny Faustus' power. Faustus summoned Alexander and his lover, but as you know, this was just a deception of the king, and they were not a real. So the king continued to deny Faustus and boast him. So Faustus punished him and put a horns on his head. So then the emperor thanks Faustus and gift.
Right. Yeah. Thank you. Thank you. Good. Ahmed Jabbar. Yes. Yes, Ahmed.
Scene number 10. This scene contains more than one event. First, at the court of Emperor Charles V, Faustus gives a magic show conjuring an appearance of spirits, resembling Alexander the Great and his lover. Meanwhile, a spectacle knight irritates Faustus with his scornful remarks. Faustus causes horns to appear on the head of the knight as a punishment.
Right.
After that, Faustus tells Mephistopheles that his 24 years of power are nearly over, and he will end his days in Wittenberg.
Right.
At the end of the scene, Wagner knows of an invitation from the Duke of Anhalt.
Right. Good. Thank you.
Yes.
Yes. Thank
You're
you.
welcome.
Thank you. Okay. Zainab Jassim.
Yes, sir. Good evening.
Good evening. Yes. Thank you.
Yes. Yes, the scene in this scene number 10, now shifted to the Emperor's palace at Innsbruck. The Emperor has heard about Faustus. He has a great reputation as a magician. He would like to see with his own eyes.
Right.
Some proof of Faustus' magic skill. Faustus is ready to satisfy the emperor with his magic performance. He asked the emperors what he would have him to do.
Right.
The emperor asked Faustus to raise Alexander and beautiful mistress, his wife of Alexander,
Right.
and want to see Alexander, but Faustus he can't bring them because they are dead.
Right.
Faustus Faustus say she is ready to show his performance for all and for emperor. But emperor will only see spirits of Alexander and his wife because they are dead from a long time.
Right.
There was a night he makes fun of him, of Faustus. Faustus command Mephistopheles, Alexander and his wife. The emperor surprised when he saw Alexander and his wife. He was shocked because they are dead, and when they see them. After that, Faustus asked emperor to bring a knight. When night bring and Faustus said, "I will punish him." He punished him by put on his head a pair of horns. Yes,
Right.
that's all.
Yeah. Thank you very much. Good.
You're
Thanks.
welcome.
Yes. Thanks. Who else? Hussam. Yes.
Yes.
Right.
Okay. So, in this scene, Faustus shows no significant development or change in the nature of Dr. Faustus. He is still pleasing himself with his new powers.
Right.
So in the time that has elapsed since the part of the play, Faustus has gained, fame and reputation.
Right.
Reputation.
Right.
Because of his reputation, the emperor himself has interest in Faustus and invites him into imperial, as my colleague said, imperial court.
Right.
But the point, as noted, is that Faustus does not use his advantage to the emperor, but only to entertain him by simple magical tricks and illusions.
Good. Yes.
It's ironic that Faustus summons up, Alexander the Great, a man who conquered the entire world and performed impossible tasks.
Right.
So, Faustus has at his command the means to surpass the deeds of Alexander, but fails to take advantage of them.
Right.
Whereas Alexander has superiority over the entire known world.
Good.
Faustus, to hold dominion over the unknown world, Alexander accomplished the achievement he performed only by means of only a mere human.
Right.
Faustus has to pay dearly for superhuman capabilities. Yes, so as the rest of the stories, as my colleague says, with the knight, the incident with the knight demonstrates how Faustus has become increasingly proud of his powers.
Right. Yes.
Rest of the story.
Yes. Good. Thank you very much.
You're welcome.
Yes. Maryam Muhyiddin.
Yes. Good evening.
Good evening.
Yes, sir. This scene shows that Faustus, still pleasing himself by using the new power, and uses this power for satisfying other people,
Right.
to get a great reputation.
Yes.
A great reputation among people, and he forgets about the noble matters that he was asking before,
Right.
like the mystery of universe, like heavenly things.
Right.
Yeah, he forgets about all these things, and he going to be busy with cheap things, like bringing Alexander and his paramour.
Right.
And
Mistress. Yes. Go on.
yes,
Yes. Yes. Go on, please. Yeah.
yes, yeah. By bringing Alexander and his paramour back to life, by command Mephistopheles with going outside and getting inside with the two those two famous people to please the king,
Right.
the emperor.
Yes. Good.
Yes.
Yes. Thank you very much. Good. Yes. Yes. Amar Saleh.
Okay, good evening, Doctor.
Good evening.
The emperor has heard about Faustus that he is a good magician. He wanted to see Faustus' magical skill.
Right.
Faustus is able to satisfy the emperor's curiosity with his magic performance. Asked the emperor how he would like to see his magic skills.
Right.
Asked Faustus to raise Alexander from the tomb. Also, he asked him to raise Alexander's mistress.
Right.
The emperor wants to see them as he used to be during lifetime. Faustus said that he is ready to that, but the emperor will see spirits, not in their actual bodies, but because actual bodies aren't available now.
Good. Yes.
Also, there was a night belittle of Faustus' powers. He regarded Faustus as a juggler.
Right.
So that night, he will punish him
Good.
for
Yes.
his insolence.
Right.
Faustus asked Mephistopheles to bring Alexander and his mistress. The emperor surprised when he saw them.
Yes. Good.
After the spirits are gone, Faustus asked the emperor to send the knight who had spoken to Faustus in circus manner.
Right.
When he appeared, he is seen with a pair of horns on his head.
Right.
Faustus reminded him that is of his insolence. The emperor asked Faustus to remove the horns.
Yeah.
So Faustus did that and told him that to be more respectful with the scholars in the future.
Yeah.
The emperor promises that he will give Faustus a reward for his magic display.
Right. Good. Thank you very much. Yes, Badwan.
Yes, sir. Good evening.
Evening.
The emperor receives Faustus and asks for a demonstration of his powers. Faustus summons the spirits of Alexander the Great and his lover. A knight loudly expresses doubt about Faustus, but Dr. Faustus put a pair of horns of his head as a punishment. Faustus is encouraged to remove the horns from the knight's hair. He points out that Faustus is being evasive about his true powers before admitting
Right.
that he cannot read. He can only summon spirits in the forms of figures from the past.
Sorry. Yes. Good. Yeah. Okay. Thank you, Badwan. Yes, Saif Ali.
Yeah, sir, it's nice opportunity actually to speaking with you this nice evening.
Thank you very much. Thank you.
everyone. Yeah, so here we got scenes number 10. I think it's the most important and it's about important point in Faustus' experience. So later at the German court, Emperor Carlos tells Faustus that he has heard reports of its magical powers and he would like to see some proof of Faustus' skill.
Right.
He wants just proof, So Faustus responds humbly that is not as skilled as rumors report him to be.
Right.
He will try to please the emperor.
Right.
The emperor wonders if anyone will ever attain a statue of Alexander the Great. So he asks Faustus to bring Alexander and Alexander's armor wife, so back to life.
Right.
As the emperor makes this request, a knight in the court makes several spectacle remarks about Faustus' power.
Right.
At Faustus' request, Mephistopheles lived under ten with two spirits, two souls, in shape of Alexander and his farmer. After the emperor inspects a mole on the farmer's neck, he declared that the two spirits are real.
Right.
Faustus asked that the knight be requested to return. When the knight appears, he has a pair of horns on his head.
Right.
So the knight here is furious about this statue and abuses Faustus. There, at the emperor requests Faustus release the knight from the spell, and horns are removed. The emperor thanks so much to Faustus for the conjuration and promises to reward him constantly.
Yes, good.
Thank you so much.
Thank you. By the way, what happened to the competition? Have you been qualified to the next stage? Safe? Sorry for this. It's not part of our lecture.
Yeah.
Have you been qualified to the next stage? Safe?
Yeah, you mean the scene number 11 or 10?
No, the competition, the competition that day when we المسابقة صارت.
يا مسابقة صارت بالقسم؟
قسم العرب، قسم القرآن، علم القرآن.
ايه منا هذيك اليوم منا اخذت الاول يعني جيت ويانا ما استدعوا انا قلت لك.
ما استدعوكم؟
لا بعد ما نزل مشروع استاذ حسان.
اوكي ان شاء الله. اوكي good luck. Sorry for this. Okay. Yes, Muhammad Sinan.
Yeah, I really don't have a lot to say. Just I'd like to comment on scene 11. It kind of reminds me of the beginning of the play. Like how at the beginning of the play, Mephistopheles just wants Faustus about selling his soul to the devil and all that. I see a resemblance here on how Faustus warns the horse courser from buying the horse. Yeah, so I see.
What kind of
the writer just comes on.
What kind of resemblance you mean here? You mention
Reverse psychology, like it works in both scenes. At the beginning, Mephistopheles just challenges, just warns Faustus that selling his devil ain't worth trouble, and that hell is bad and all that. Here,
right.
He just warns him about his horse into the water.
Right. Otherwise, it will be turned into hay.
Yeah, it would turn into hay. Yeah, without he didn't tell him it would turn into hay, but just I see a resemblance here. He used reverse psychology in both scenes.
Right. Good.
Yeah, I just thought that was interesting.
Yeah, thank you very much. Good point. I'll come across this point next. Sorry. So, any other commentary here, or do you would like to comment on this scene or scene number 11? Nothing?
Can I ask something?
Yes, please.
Yes, sir. Here in the summary, told dollars. Dollar, it's their coin in that time?
The currency, no, I don't think
think
so.
it was-
It is a printing mistake. I believe it is a printing mistake. Because usually...
I think dollar, it's a bring to New America, I think.
Right, yeah, it is, we call this currency. Yeah, I believe it is a printing mistake because that time they use only
They
gold
don't have
coins.
dollar.
Yes, gold coins and so on, silver or gold coins. Yeah, it doesn't matter because
Yes.
you understand this one, right?
Yes.
Yeah,
Okay.
thank you
Okay.
for
Thank you.
thank you for this. Thank you.